Time is 4 o'clock in the afternoon on November 21st, 2023. We'll call this meeting of the Capital Improvements Committee to order for the town of Templeton. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to state for the record that we have no members on Zoom this evening, and we do have a quorum of members in the room. We have Mr. Francis, myself, Justice Graves, and Ms. Cheryl Richardson. And we also have our ex-PPO member Holly Young in the room. That being said, we will move into our first agenda item to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Oh, okay. So seeing no comments, the only thing to edit would be to edit the East and East Templeton to have an uppercase letter at the top there. Would anyone like to make a motion stating such for approval of the minutes?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction in East Templeton as requested by the chair.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. Is there any further discussion? All right, hearing now, we'll go for the vote. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. That was unanimous. So our next agenda item is for Parks and Recreation submission. Candace, if you'd like to talk.
Hi, Candace Graves, Parks and Rec. We have two applications that we presented, sent to you guys. The first one I have is on the Gilman Way Booton Park ball field replacement of fencing. The fencing, it should be replaced, at least after about 10 years of we've been told that, they've been brought there, the company that we had come out to do a review on it. And they said that this is like the third time coming down to look at it. And yeah, it's getting worse. And we told you 10 years ago it needed to be replaced. So, it's for field one. The estimate is, overall cost to do all of them. It would be about $65,000, we estimate. Field one, would be about $19,000. We're being told, that would be the whole backstop and the whole replacement kit, for that field. It's rusted out and, a lot of kids like to hang on it, which is a danger for our town, as it is. And then we have, field two, which is the one that's over near the concession stand. So field one is over near the playground and field two is over near the concession stand. With that one, it's about $5,000. And the reason why is because if you look at pictures on this one, if you see where the picnic table is, you can see how low it is. So what happens is we have a lot of, where the picnic table is, we have a lot of spectators that like to sit up their chairs there and the ball comes over it. So this is a safety aspect. The rest of field two, we were told they were really surprised. They hadn't seen it in 10 years and they said it was in good shape. Other than that, they did recommend that we would hire, to replace that section of the fence, to hire it up so that it would be for safety reasons on that one to replace. Field three is about $22,000 and that one is the worst out of all of them at Gilman Waite. That one is, you see the portion of it, you see the pole is coming off of it. It has a lot of rust to it. It's a lot of bowed area to it. Um, and that was the one that's further in the park. Also, they recommended that we put it a little bit higher because there's a house that's not far from there. The way they hit, they don't feel like it has been that much of an issue, but they did recommend that that section that's closest to the house property to be raised up higher. What else? And then we have Hooten Park. We had him evaluate Hooten Park as well, and we included it into this project as well. It's $19,000. It's the worst of the worst. If you look, this picture here, this is Hooten Park. You can see how it's bowing. A lot of it is rusted. This is Hooten Park on this bottom picture here. A lot of it's rusted. This one here, this is actually the fencing at the bottom of Hooten Park. That's what's left of it. This would only be the fencing that is the backstop and then the wings that come out. That's the only fencing we asked them to look at when they came down. That one, they said there's a lot of water issue there that has caused a lot of the damage over the years. The gentleman that came out and looked at it. But in their recommendation that all of these are needed, we did it in a way, we asked them to break it down so that we could, if we had to, as we raise funds for it as a town, we could do one at a time. So we wanted to make sure that we broke it down. That's why we broke it down per field, and that way we didn't have to do the whole $65,000 at once if we couldn't. We'd like to also see, for our town to try to go out and try to find some maybe grants on this, if this is a possibility. Is there any questions about the fencing, project?
The most recent town meeting, it was work to be done on the whole part, which was, I believe, community preservation money.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is there a possibility of community preservation money for this fencing project?
Possible. It's hard to say right now. And we can present it to them. I don't know if there's a lot of grants out there either for fencing. I haven't had done a lot of research on the fencing, but it's possibility that we could present it to capital. I mean CPC.
Have you spoken with them?
Yeah, it's been on the agenda. So basically, I asked them, I told them about the fencing issue and then the next project, which is a dugout, both of them. And they've been talking, like we had it on, it's on their agenda, but I hadn't presented it to capital yet. So that's where we're at right now.
You know, when you'd like to present it to their camp.
Oh, to theirs? Usually it comes right after the town meeting. So when we do our, the public one that we do, I'll present it to CPC too. And then,
Anyone else have questions?
no,
comment.
yeah,
Harry Griffiths, Dory Lane. We posted the MMA into the session yesterday, and they said that CPC funds haven't been set. They're anticipating lower because of more towns figuring out participating in the program.
yeah, we know.
There was a notification that came through the Community Preservation Coalition that the DOR has not set with the reimbursement. Yeah, they cited a lack of employees at the moment due to a staffing shortage, but they hadn't done it yet. They're supposed to do it by November 15th, but they didn't do it this year.
So would it come out of this year's round of budget?
You would have to talk to, that would be a question more for CPC to kind of deal with that. That's as much as I know.
Yeah, it would just be usually, this round would usually affect our spring when we do our spring.
Questions?
On the fencing project. So the next project that we have is, Parks and Rec wants to present is our dugout project. We separated the two projects because we felt like, we think that, it's best to do that, so that way we could, if we have to look for other funding for grants or CPC funding, this gives us an opportunity as a town. So we wanted to present it, both of our applications in a way that, gave the town some ways of doing these things to fix them. They have to, they're a need base. For the dugouts, the benefit of the dugout is to give shelter from the elements to the players. Right now, currently in field 1 and field 3 and, the baseball field, it doesn't have any dugouts, any roofing style dugout. So, when the elements and rain and weather hits, the player is stuck out there. And it's also, having it is a great improvement to the park. It will help with future ability to raise more revenue into the park, because having a proper dugout for each field will help with getting organizations to want to come and do tournaments and stuff. So we feel like the dugout is more of an investment project, as well as a project that would be helping to give comfortability to the player and when they're out there and, with the sun elements and, but also very much so as a revenue to help bring a revenue into the park. The dugouts we got it a couple of different ways, but they basically are telling us it's about they estimated at $9,798 for the dugouts. We had it done one at a time so that we could show that we could do one dugout and then move on to another. Obviously, we save money if we did a set at a time together. The company had given us the estimate, but it is a needed thing, and this dugouts would include the baseball field, field 1 and field 3. We have adequate dugout on field 2, and Hooten Park actually has dugouts that just need some TLC. And so this is what we currently have. This one on the bottom is what we have for a baseball dugout. And this one is field 1 right here. That's what we use for a dugout, field 1. And then that's field 1 because it's right near the playground. And I think this is a shot of the, you can see the box area that's where that bench was. On the other side, it's just a boxed in fence, no roof, no nothing, no frills. But a dugout also keeps the players safe. It's not, some of the top fields and parks have decent dugouts throughout the community. A lot of the parks have invested into them because it's a needed thing for playing softball and baseball. And like I said, it will definitely help with bringing more revenue into the park. Having decent dugouts for those other two fields and for the softball fields at Gilman Way, and then having the baseball field at Gilman Way. For the middle school usually right now is the one using the baseball field the most. And then the high school, the middle school, and the rec department, we're using the softball fields at Gilman Way. Right now, Hooten Park is unusable. It needs some new fencing because the fencing is just not safe, and it needs some TLC on in the actual playing area and grooming. Any questions?
Questions?
Oh, should I give the full ballpark on that one? It's I write it down. I think it was like 60 as well. Yeah, $60,000 if we were to do all of it.
I just want to be clear on a couple of things.
Yeah.
How many dugouts are we talking about?
We're talking field 1, which is 2 dugouts, field 3, which is 2 dugouts, and field the baseball field, and that would be 2 dugouts.
Or 6 dugouts.
Yeah, but the baseball field will probably come a little less in the quote because it has the current fencing already in it, so they would build off of into it. So that's what they said. They're not sure yet. I asked them just to give me a ballpark estimation of each one, so we could see it as an individual project.
So the total for the 6 dugouts is
Did-
approximately $60,000.
Yeah, approximately, unless my math was wrong.
And my other question is the concession stand at Gilman Way.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's nice. What is the plan to use the revenue or the, proceeds from sales?
Well, currently, we hired a manager to take care of it, and he just started. And we are currently, we take care of the bathroom, so that the concession stand will help with the cost of the bathroom, the toilet paper and soap that it costs for that. And then the money just goes into our revolving account and takes care of the things that rec takes care of. So it goes back to the town and takes care of the things. It buys, after the cost of, the supplies, we estimate that in the next couple of years, it'll really take off. I mean, we're coming back from pandemic and, bringing it back and having hiring somebody to take care of it, manage it. We believe that this is really gonna be a plus, for Narragansett school system as well as the rec department. And as well as the town itself, if we have tournaments in it, we hope that our manager, because we're not gonna allow anybody to rent the actual concession stand, because that would be a liability. So having that manager that can open it up and start getting staffing and stuff as we come along on it. It's just one step at a time, but yeah. But getting the manager was the biggest part, and Joe has been wonderful, so.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay. Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome, hope it did all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Done with our department reviews. The next item on our agenda is discussion and possible action on an FY 24 supplemental report relating to the East Templeton Water Main project. You see enclosed in your packet, a very simple supplemental recommendation to add on to last year's. According to the town bylaw, anything before it is appropriated that comes before us and is presented needs to have a supplemental recommendation issued by it. As we had a little bit of discussion last meeting regarding the East Templeton water mains, we know that was sent to the selectmen for approval via the ARPA funds. But it was referred to us in order to have it presented according to the bylaw, and then also for us to be compliant, we should issue a supplemental for how we would recommend them. Selectmen have already said they are interested in appropriating the funds for that project, and they already have. So. I think the question-
Project already been done.
Right, project's already been done, as we discussed last meeting, it's just sort of coming backwards towards us. But in fairness to the bylaw, looking at it, since it has been presented to us, we do need to and should implement or issue a supplemental report for fiscal year 24, since this is happening currently. Or happening currently now and having appropriations. That's my interpretation on looking into it. I don't know if anybody has any.
So are you looking for a motion? Chair.
I'm looking for any discussion on the supplemental report. If we're in favor of issuing one, and then, what recommendation do we want to make?
Well, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing this forward to everybody. So, I would entertain a motion. I don't know, Cheryl, do you have any discussion on this?
No, it's after the fact, so it's not
Yeah.
like,
I think I would make a motion to, the chair, make, such, supplemental changes to the FY 24 report. As is necessary to comply with the town bylaw.
Change last year's report?
Well, the supplement,
To issue a supplement for that.
yeah.
Like,
You need a supplement to the report, like,
yes, that's what's in the packet. It's just a simple one page explaining issuing that out. So do you want, so would you want to make a motion on approving the supplemental report as presented with a positive recommendation to the Board of Selectmen?
took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay. All right. So do you want to move that, Mr. Francis?
Yes, I would. do that.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
yes, second,
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any further discussion? No,
there's just,
yeah,
a typo in there.
where,
It should say intersection, I think, on, the roundabout project at. So 1, 2, 3, 4 lines up from that paragraph.
oh, yeah, all right. There we go. Thank you, Cheryl. All right, would you amend your motion? Is that a moment? All right, Cheryl, you're gonna be second.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, on the amended main motion, we're gonna go to the vote, seeing no further discussion. How do you vote, Mel?
Yes.
Cheryl?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Moving right along. Now we are into developing our FY 25 recommendations. Before we begin, I did check with the town administrator. Our working capital for the annual town meeting coming up is 150,000. Plus, we can use or recommend up to 50,000 in CapEx if needed on top of that. Just so that everybody is aware. So I don't know where we want to start the discussion, if anybody has any specific thoughts on anything that's been presented so far.
I have a couple of questions about the total amount of money that we have to work with.
Yeah.
Is the $50,000 in CapEx, is that a determination by the town administrator?
That is what he had told me. Yes, that would be his determination.
Because he has told me that there is approximately $100,000 in funds.
Yeah, on the latest free cash, prepared plan that he put after the fall town meeting, the potential balance in CapEx should be around 197,000. Yeah. There is, or should be, close to that amount of funds in there. This was something that the town administrator wants sent out. It's not in our packet. I'm just looking at that.
I think what Father's Day is we have an enormous number of requests. And just excluding replacing the 1999 fire engine, excluding the 6-wheel Ford F-750. Just for equipment alone, if we were to grant all the requests for this equipment, it would use the entire amount of free cash and the entire amount of $200,000 in CapEx.
And so,
And that's not getting into any other requests for, Mr. Castle, for example. It just doesn't get into any other requests. And the other item that bothers me as well is that in this year's requests there is a couple of requests that were not carried over. So there's three that I can think of, but one, it may be on the sheet. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it was a paving request last year. This is an example, and it totaled $200,000 to $300,000, and it's not not even on the list of the new requests. And the fire department, the forestry truck, it was not requested, but it was on the list from last year. So not only do we, not only am I hazy as to what the total number of dollars is that we can use, but I'm also is that the request that we listen to is not really quite the full amount of what is necessary.
Now, there's a lot of other things in the backlog. Yeah. These are just the requests that were brought for this capital year. Some of them I know have been presented here. I haven't seen the ARPA spending plan, but I know that they just finalized this. I know there was quite a bit of paving on there. But what specifically, I haven't seen that. So. But I do know what you're talking about, the forestry 2 truck from last year. That wasn't represented, but there was another forestry truck that the chief had presented to us.
Right, and one was covered by ARPA.
Right.
One of the items that the chief made a presentation on was has since been covered by ARPA. So it's just my whole point is I just like to work from certainty. I mean, I know you can't be 100% certain in municipal government like this, but I don't feel that we're anywhere near 80 or 90% certainty. I just don't like the idea of trying to make decisions where there's not a certainty as to what monies may be available. The other item as well is that there's monies at the end of the year that probably could be incorporated into, probably could be used for capital requests if we recommended it. But again, I don't know what that number is. I don't think anybody knows what that number is because we don't know what our expenses will be until the end of the year, or how much money is going to be returned.
And you're talking about the end of year. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I just need a number, not an exact number, but I just feel that we need some kind of a number, to work on, and then, then we can go, down through the matrix. We have a number to work on, and then we can, hopefully, each of us can come up with different matrix, different sets of matrices that, and then we can make a final decision based on that.
The amount of working capital, according to the town administrator, is the 100, and I know it's nothing. It's the 150,000, and then our ability to utilize up to 50,000 capex if needed. We could recommend differently if we felt, but those are really sort of the limits that we're looking at right now.
Now, for equipment in particular, is there a different bucket, different stabilization bucket, or is the capex, that's it?
Some items, are you talking about like regularly reoccurring equipment? Are you talking about like for the year that the fire chief needs that he always puts into his general budget that he had to present to us? You're talking about items like that, or?
No, I'm just talking about the stabilization funds. We have a stabilization fund for the pension, and we have the stabilization fund for equipment. And are there any other stabilization or capital type monies? I know this seems like a,
Right, no, I mean. The OpEx and the OPEB accounts are, we don't use them that often, we don't use them for, those usually don't get brought up in capital discussions. And I don't know what the select board of the town administrator's plans are for the infrastructure stabilization fund, the new one that we just created. So.
I think it's important to remember that the capital improvements committee is really tasked with listening to what everyone, you know, presents and putting it in order of what do you think the most urgent is. I think if we kind of don't think about the money part at this point, because that's going to be the town administrator and select board that do that, especially if we're taking out, you know, the cable retained earnings, all the ones that are coming from other sources.
Yeah.
And then just do our order of what's most important, which is, I know, difficult, but.
Right, and at the end of the day, I mean, the best thing that we can do is just order these. Give our recommendations to the Board of Selectmen and see if that order holds or not. I do understand what you're saying, Noel. But that's kind of where we kind of fall into this.
Right, we have to work with, and that's it.
Right,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah,
And this is every year. It's just.
Yeah.
It's not.
yeah, I mean. To Noel's point, this is the lowest amount that we've had sort of
In
to
a
work
while.
with in a while, but. So I guess I'll start with the conversation. So the one thing that jumps out to my mind is 7 oil tanks.
Right.
We
That's good.
we legally need them. We need to do that.
I do have a proposed
We do.
solution about that. I look at that as an emergency request. And depending upon the timing, you know, what Mr. Sosek said is that he probably would not be doing the work until he has to do the work by July, when there's a new oil vendor, you know, oil goes out to bid every year. So it appears that the work would be done after the heating season in the spring and before the start of the new fiscal year in July. You know, there's probably a window of 2 or 3 months there. I think as an emergency request that it perhaps should go before advisory and split in half between the present fiscal year FY 24 and the new fiscal year FY 25, and you know, split that between, you know, you have $28,000 or so, you know, maybe split 14 and 14.
No, I understand what you're saying, Noel. The only thing is we're not gonna know. That can certainly be brought forward at that time. But my thinking would be, in the meantime, why don't we recommend the oil tanks to be done through the CapEx stabilization? I mean, we need to do it, and that's what that account is there for, and it will cover it. That's just kind of my thoughts, or if we want to prioritize this for the working capital.
You know, I don't think we have to say if we want to use CapEx, I don't think we have to say we're gonna
Yeah,
use
if we
this
don't,
out of it.
yeah, if we don't want to do that, then we can just, I mean, that's.
I mean, I think Bob's comment on these two were, if we make it through the winter,
Yeah,
I think they were allowing us to.
right, they're allowing us to
Hoping,
use
right,
them
because the
right
thing's
now.
gonna be ordered anyways, but
Yeah.
it sounded like it could be iffy. So I don't think we're good through winter. I think it's just, we hope we're good through winter.
Right, and then we definitely have to deal with it. in the
Right.
Summer, we don't have a choice.
I mean, we're just recommending
Right.
what we want, with
In
the
the-
priority.
Right.
And then it's with what we have.
Right.
And I think that should be high on the list.
Yes, I mean, it's required. Do something.
So would we all be comfortable with putting that as our number 1 for items that need to
Right
be?
now, I would, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Looking through the list. Just so that everybody is aware. Item number 8 usually comes out of the fire chief's items in this general fund. He presented that to us because of it being capital. Your police cruiser usually comes out of the meals tax,
Right.
but we usually recommend it every year. I don't know if we want to prioritize that as number 2, since that should be done at the annual town meeting.
Well, it seems to be an understanding among all the boards and the public that the meals tax, it was created to fund police cruisers. The benefits of purchasing a new police cruiser every year is very evident because with the newer fleet, there was a savings of $15,000 in maintenance. So, that really should be definitely on the list for use of free cash. I think we'd be subjecting ourselves to a great deal of criticism and justifiable criticism if we were not to do that.
Well, and I'm just thinking it's supposed to come out of that. so
Right.
Yeah.
It should be the next
It's,
thing.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's not part of our funds, we can recommend that to be used as it
As it
should be,
yes.
Yeah.
out of meals tax.
So I'll put that as number 2 with the use of meals tax if everyone's comfortable with that.
And if I could, going back to the turnout here,
Yeah.
number 8 on the list, I don't understand why that is a capital request and not an operating budget.
Because of the value, we had to bring it to capital, even though the funds aren't.
Yeah, regardless of the source of funding,
Right.
it's over 10K. So some of these items, like with TCTVs, all of them come out of cable retained earnings. So since their equipment costs so much, it's over 10 grand in total when they get some of that equipment, they have to present that to us regardless of that source. The chief always gets turnout gear every year and puts an amount in his budget, but because the cost is so high and over 10 grand for it, he has to present it to us. Yeah,
I guess my question regarding that is, why isn't that a line item on its budget?
It is.
It is a line item. Well, I mean, we usually recommend it, but that's a part of his general fund. It's in his, it's in one of his accounts for fire and EMS.
I mean, we can list all these things separately at the bottom of the
Right,
recommendation.
we can
The
put those
things that
separate.
we're not taking out of what we're allowed to use. Will be, pretty much all should be recommended. They're using their funds.
Right. I was gonna say, if,
Yeah, I would certainly recommend that be used for that. I just don't think it should come out of our limited free cash if
It's not.
it's coming out of tax. I mean, free cash comes from the remainder of taxation at the end of the fiscal year, but that comes specifically out of taxation. That's budgeted for in the operating budget.
Okay.
That isn't a line item for fire. That's in there. Or estimated within fires.
But you understand what I'm driving at is just, it just seems like it should be just an item in his budget that we don't even have to discuss.
He has
Because
to
it is
present
He
it
has
because
to
of the value.
Yeah, it's the
And
value.
I get that, I get that.
So,
Are we gonna put the turnout gear as number 3?
what I was actually gonna suggest in just a moment is that for the items that we know definitely are not coming out of free cash, that we recommend them and that we include them at the
Right.
end of the report. So I would say, for example, item number 8, and then items number 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Should all be recommended and included at the end of the report.
Right, we only need to talk about the things that are, that
So
we're,
recommended separately, and then we do our list for the stuff
Right.
that's only going.
Yes.
Right.
Stuff that, yeah, only the
Yeah.
stuff that's gonna come out of,
I mean, I don't think we need to hash over
yeah.
everything that we're not
No.
concerned with.
No, is that all right if I put that at the end of the report?
Yes,
Yeah, like that, okay. So
we need a vote.
we'll vote on it next meeting when we vote on
Okay.
our recommendations, yeah, but I'll put that at the end of the report.
I'd say number 5, the new ambulance would kind of fall into that category.
Yeah, ambulance receipts, yeah, we can. Cheryl, you comfortable with that, putting
Yep.
at the end of the report for ambulance receipts, yeah, number 5 as well, yeah.
5, 8, 9, 11.
Right. Number 11 is the MDT upgrades that the chief had said he could use 911 for. So. All right. And then also Holly, the senior center kitchen completion, didn't the select board just vote for that out of ARPA funds, 30,000? You believe so? I remember seeing that.
I have heard figures as high as 200,000. Like that, 30,000 is that to complete that project?
I think it's from my understanding, it's towards the project and they're still talking with the Friends of Templeton Elders, which that's kind of outside of our wheelhouse, but I don't know if we wanna list that at the end, that we recommend it for the use of ARPA funds. Because there isn't a dollar amount associated with that in our packets that we had received previously, it's just that number has fluctuated.
Yeah, I certainly think we should recommend it, but
Right,
I'm wondering if there is enough ARPA funds.
Well-
I guess that's not our problem.
right, ARPA fund, yeah, that's under the jurisdiction of the selectmen, yeah. And they've already done their full spending plan, haven't they, Holly?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go grab it.
Okay, yeah. that would
Pretty
be
sure
good.
it's in there, but I want to.
Okay. Go back to that. Well, Holly's getting that. The ballistic shields,
Yeah, they should definitely
they
get
should be
those.
on there, and not just because they're for police, but they're useful to the other departments as
Mhm.
well in emergency. Uses, so I'm thinking they should be third on our list, the ballistic shields. On the list I had put for 2 of them. Do we want to recommend them to get 2 of them or just keep it as is?
So
So,
Yeah.
I thought,
Chief said he'd be happy with that.
yeah. Right, so I'll put that at number 3 on the list.
I I felt that the number 20,
Okay.
the creating a trap, the door locks.
Let's wait until Holly gets back with the ARPA spending plan, because I remember there were some things for Narragansett on there. I want to know what the
It's
selection
just,
can
it
vote,
was just a partial.
yeah.
That is on the ARPA plan, the senior center kitchen, so that's funded.
Okay.
Was there anything on there for the door locks at Hurricanes?
Yeah, what are the projects that they approved for Narragansett on there?
HVAC upgrades. Replace internet core switches, family subsidies for extended day program. Athletic field drainage. North side of middle school, high school drainage. So the door locks were not on there.
Okay. So do we want to recommend the door locks as the next one?
I think so.
Yeah. No, do you feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that number 3?
Number 3 is 2 ballistic shields. So
This one's 4.
1 is the oil tanks, 2 is the police vehicle, 3 is the ballistic shields, and 4 is the middle school and high school door locks. Another comment, number 1, the Houghton Park Rehabilitation Master Plan, that will go off as well. Yeah, because that's CPC funded.
Two categories. First thing.
Right, yeah, because that, yeah, number 2, because they are going for the community compact grant, and then it'll be included in the general budget, yeah, so number 2. You can take on. Anything that jumps out to anybody. So. Just looking at, there's a few of these that are pretty high up there.
The wheelchair van,
Mm,
wasn't that in really bad shape?
That is in bad shape, and that is an issue for accessibility. So that would be something to consider. Fire station remodeling is also important for, also in order for ADA access to. That's another ADA issue. We want to recommend, it's number 5, the wheelchair accessibility van.
yes, definitely.
Yes. No, are you okay with that?
This is where it gets tough.
Yes, it does not get easier from here on out. Well, it wasn't easy to start.
I think. I mean, it's certainly right there, and but I also think that we should try to get, one piece of equipment for DPW and one piece for the fire.
I think one of the next things, what about the buildings and grounds mower? Number 23 on the list.
Is that the one that's on its last leg?
Yes. But we have quite a few vehicles on here that are on their last.
That's the
life.
thing, and it's like
That's the
everybody else has been
problem.
getting put off from their stuff so that they can
Yeah,
get something every year from their, you know.
so I think on
And it's-
highway number 25 and 26.
Right, and actually, one of those, we might be able to pair up with, Bob had said one of those was pairing up with,
Mentioning that.
Winchton, which is.
That's number
the
25.
road widener.
Right, that's 30, the town's share would be half the $64,000 cost.
Yeah.
That's something that's hardly ever used to. That's,
Oh, the road one.
yeah. I mean. Isn't there something that would be more? I mean, he's got windows as high priority.
Yeah.
That mower is just rotating stock.
See, right, I know what you're talking about, the windows at town hall, yeah,
I mean, that, he's got that as high priority.
right, and actually replacing those.
And the
would-
trailer
would save energy in the building, so that would.
in that 7x16 trailer, number 22, he's got his high.
So how would we feel about number 6 being the town hall windows and number 7 being the 7x16 trailer? Does anyone have an issue with that?
I mean, we're not gonna
Right,
recommend every single thing. We,
right,
once we hit our budget, that's it.
right,
I mean, and we're over already,
so
so.
we're already over.
On 7. That being the trailer?
Yeah.
Or were we in the
That
middle?
was wrong, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean. Gotta work with the budget, just. Gotta find money. Mm. 2, 3 things, 4 things, and we're over.
I think it's good to have a little more.
Oh, yeah,
defense,
there's,
Especially like
Right.
Noel was saying, if there's money later for, what was that? I'm more concerned about.
he was talking.
Oh,
about-
that could go to advisory.
Yeah, that could go to advisory, that was the
7
oil
oil
tanks.
tanks.
Yeah,
Could we stop there and wait till the next meeting to, kind of look the numbers over and,
I think
yeah,
we should.
I think that, yeah,
Yeah.
I can. Put total up what we've had and we can kind of compare everything and see where we land and how we feel. Plus, it's just our first time trying to tackle with it as a full list after
Mhm.
we've seen
Right.
everything, so it's not. Easy how we want to weigh things. Looking at the list, are there any questions that we have on anything that we want to reach out to the department on, or do we feel good right now? I don't have any questions. I'm
No.
just gonna open.
No,
No, I think the presentations were straightforward, and I think they were genuine needs.
It's just covering those needs that's kind of difficult.
I do, and what really bothers me is if by not buying equipment is. I look at the request for the 1999 fire engine. I mean, it's kind of easy to show what not buying equipment will do. Is your advisory is probably going to be approached to with a request for monies to repair it. And it should have been replaced 6 years ago. The process should have started, so it'd be replaced right about now. And by not replacing it within the 20-year life, it's probably adding $200,000 to the cost. So the town has $200,000 cost plus maybe $15,000 or $20,000 in repairs. And when you look at that extra money, you know, it could have been used for other equipment or other, like the wheelchair van, you know, could very easily pay for that.
Right, and we have plenty of different vehicles that have been presented to us over the years and that are on here right now that are in the same boat as the fire engine. They should have been done not decades ago, unfortunately.
Even if we don't have the monies, I think we should make at least a recommendation to city order, if nothing else.
We don't usually recommend every single thing. We try
No.
to, like what Cheryl had said, we try to number the ones that we can, that we feel strongly about.
get to our number and then we usually add in,
A little
net-
bit
you
more,
know,
just-
if money comes available from somewhere else, this would be the next thing we
Right.
request.
Or
But we don't go
something.
down and
Yeah.
list every single
Yeah,
item.
yeah.
That's not why we're here.
Well, do you ever go like after the money runs out, like the top 5 items after that? Or?
It kind of fluctuates based on the year.
Yeah, we usually just throw in a couple extra items in case, like, in
Yeah.
case something comes in at less, or in if somebody decides they found another way to come up with what they need,
Right.
or
Okay. I understand that.
So I think what we should do is, if everybody agrees to it, I think that we should maybe stop for the night. I think,
yeah,
yeah, we're good.
I mean,
I'd also like, you know, so I'd like to have his input on some of these items as well. I think that's very important.
That would be a good idea. So I think we'll stop for now. I'll send out an updated spreadsheet. With those totals, and then at our next meeting on December 5th, I was gonna say 7th, but it's December 5th, next, on that Tuesday, we'll work towards developing our final recommendations.
Also, thank you for these spreadsheets. They're very helpful.
I was gonna say overwhelming, but, so hearing nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. We'll go straight for the vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. We are